Minister, I'm happy to take part in this important debate about the forestry future of Ireland and to examine the rationale of the Government's present policy. Ecology and biology have long been used in the lexicon of forestry language, and we can now add a new word, which is codology, because that is the best description of the recent activity announced by Oireachtas, a state-supported company who, despite their annual profits, and could not muster the financial expertise other than go to Bond Street and Threadneedle Street to find UK partners to figure out how to add capacity to their operations. The domestic forestry sector has been in crisis now for a number of years, Minister, down to just one reason, which is the efficiency of the Forestry Office to process applications. Where farmers have had land suitable for forestry, the delays have meant that they have diverted into other streams. This point is best highlighted by looking at the historical activity of the domestic forestry sector. In 2000, private domestic growing delivered over 14,000 hectares. In 2010, it delivered over 8,000 hectares. And in the middle of COVID in 2020, it still delivered 4,000 hectares, a half of our annual 8,000 hectare target. But the message coming from government is that the domestic activity cannot deliver the afforestation targets we need to meet the climate goals. Helping this narrative is the deliberate prioritisation by the Forestry Office in terms of putting state-supported activity ahead of the private growers in Ireland. In 2022, Minister, Oireachtas achieved 110% of its felling target, which I'm sure they were delighted about. On the other hand, private felling achieved only 80% of their felling licences and just 68% of their afforestation licences. The continuing failure to provide an efficient licensing regime to the sector is at the heart of the rationale for Oireachtas to go looking for foreign monies and for partners capable of achieving subsidy and premier approvals. The Gresham House deal initially was to develop 12,000 hectares of Irish forestry over the life of the programme, and this would deliver hundreds of millions in state subsidies to that concern. But these monies will not transfer to Irish families, rather they will go to international investors. In addition, given the pushback in recent days from deputies in this House, Oireachtas are now saying they will focus on acquiring over 9,500 hectares of existing forestry, along with a target of 3,500 of afforestation. In other words, two-thirds of the fund will now go to acquire lands already forested, delivering nothing in increased climate change targets benefits to Ireland. And what of their responsibilities to deliver biodiversity in their afforestation activities, Minister? Will they be forced, like the private sector, to provide 20% broadleaf on schemes and 15% open area? Or will they, like they do in Leitrim, go up and plant 100% Sitka spruce and then come down into Wicklow and plant 20% broadleaf as part of those schemes? Also, Minister, the failure to address the dieback issue is at the heart of the difficulties of farmers getting into the new forestry programme, and you have to try and sort out a new present scheme. I know it's stopped now because waiting for approval, but surely, Minister, the Department can find a way. Minister, I'm well aware of our need to protect our biodiversity and to achieve our climate targets in the forestry sector. But I, like others in this House, I'm fundamentally opposed to the creation of state monopolies, which, if where the present policy is going, will propel Oireachtas. I am also fundamentally opposed to the idea of using Irish taxpayers' monies to incentivise foreign investment interests to enter the Irish forestry market and displace rural and regional farm ownership and farm families. Forestry growers want and need a functioning licensing department that deals with their applications quickly and allows them to enter into the forestry programme. Government's focus must return to incentivising the perpetuation of our rural and regional economies and to stop aping other systems, using foreign capital as an excuse to reduce Irish farm capital and to further greenwash and pressure our rural communities to migrate into urban settlements. Our Irish lands must be kept in Irish ownership, Minister, as that is the only guarantee that they will be available to future generations.